I'm going to walk you through today how I went from 1K months to 7K months in just 30 days in my business. What this actually looked like, what were the shifts that actually got me to such a big income jump so quickly, and helped me maintain that as well. So I went from having just 1K months in my business. I had not had a single month that had been above 1K, to then the very next month having a 7K month, and the month straight after that having a 9.6K month, all back to back. And I really want to tell you the story and the behind the scenes of what actually happened to have such big growth so fast and also make this really sustainable at the same time. So I remember it was one weekend right at the end of the month, and it was my final 1K month ever. Didn't know it at the time, of course. And I really just decided that I was done with it at that time. I really decided that I was not going to be having months that were that kind of level anymore. I really decided I was ready for bigger months. And I really looked at what I was actually doing. I took a really hard look at the actions I was actually taking within my business. And I realized it kind of made sense why I was having 1K months at the time, because I was not really posting much content. I was not really talking about my offer, and I was kind of just waiting to get lucky with signing clients, essentially. I was just hoping that people would sign up, but I didn't really have any real plan around that, and I wasn't really taking consistent actions. So I could actually see that it made a lot of sense why I was at 1K months, and I think this can be one of the hardest but most helpful things to do if you're feeling stuck at your current income level, is actually just take a look at why could it potentially make sense that you are at this point right now? What are the reasons why you're perhaps at that level? Why you're perhaps not getting the results that you really want to be getting? So I really sat down, it was one Saturday, I remember it very vividly, and I just made a few commitments to myself on what I was going to do differently. I decided that there are a few things I was really going to start showing up for. I was going to start taking seriously in my business, essentially, because I knew what had signed me clients. I knew what actually worked for me. I knew, what I could actually do. I just wasn't doing those things, essentially. So I really committed to doing these things every single day for 30 days. I've decided 30-day challenge for myself. I'm going to really show up for this business for 30 days. And then the very next month after making that commitment was a 7K month from that. And I think sometimes we forget, how simple it actually is to have a really big impact on your income. It just takes some really intentional strategy. It takes actually taking those actions. It's not a case of this big mystery of, why isn't it working? I can't figure out why it's not working. If you actually take a look and get really honest with yourself on where aren't you showing up? How are you showing up as someone who makes 1K a month? How are you showing up as someone who makes $500 a month versus how would someone who makes 5K, 10K a month actually be showing up? What actions would they actually be taking? And as soon as you start actually showing up in that way and actually taking those actions, it's really simple to actually get really big growth really quickly. Not even linear growth. I didn't see any of this linear growth. I went straight from 1K months to 7K months, specifically just by taking these shifts and just by doing this one thing very differently. So that is the story of how I went from 1K to 7K months in 30 days in my business. If you found this helpful, make sure you give this video a like and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss the daily videos I'm posting at the moment. And on that note, I will see you in the next one.